Good morning, afternoon. It depends wherever you are. Welcome again to Mr. Shipman's class. I'm here with the lovely and the beautiful Miss Prudence Williams.
Hello, everyone. I hope your day has been great. I hope your day is going to be great. And I wish you the very best. How you doing, Dr. Shipman?
I'm doing fantastic. Today. Miss Williams, what are we here to talk about today?
Well, Dr. Shipman, see black men in particular in a more positive light.
Yes, Miss Williams. Let's talk about how to see black males in a more positive light with our focus being in the schools. I think it's real important that one of the things we make sure we do is talk about how we can get kids and parents and society to see black males in a more positive role model. Let's start off with how we see them in the classroom.
I think one of the things that the schools can do is make sure we have black positive role models, male and female, in place in schools, and make sure those people are well trained.
Well, why is it so important that we have black teachers? I mean, why couldn't a white teacher or Hispanic teacher or an Asian teacher just speak of the positivity of black men?
They can. I think they can, but it's nothing like seeing that person every day. Because we have students, we teach 180 days?
Yes, sir.
So I think out of that 180 days, if you see someone every day who's positive, who's come to work, it has an effect on you. It changes you in some form or fashion. And if you don't have that role model at home, because I know that I had a lot of male and female students who don't have fathers at home.
So are we saying that this is only important for the black kids?
No, I think it's positive for all races. Because over my 25 years now, I've taught students from white, Hispanic, Asian, black, you name
mixed race.
I've mixed race, and having me as a black man in their class every day, being able to see me and see that I'm different than what they might see on the television or what they might see on YouTube
or what their parents say.
It has made an impact on their life.
So when we look at the elementary school, what specifics does having a man who is black be your teacher provide for these little innocent minds? We're talking about, you taught kindergarten, kindergarten, pre-K. If there was a young adult, maybe 18 to 20, getting ready to go to school, in college, trying to decide what is they want a meaningful career. This kid is like, I want a meaningful career. What would you tell them about being a young black man entering an elementary school and teaching kindergarten, first grade or second grade?
I would tell them that you can have the impact and the experience that you can give them could carry them a lifetime.
How?
Because just being able to show that you're just normal, that you're not too different than anybody else, that you're not someone who's gonna harm them, that you're basically a nurturer. You can be like any other father in America. You're black or a role model, and necessary that you are that person that can show them, hey, be kind and gentle and speak to them. You're not yelling, you're not cursing. You're just they will look at you like, wow, I've never seen this before.
Well, I know you're right. I'm sitting here thinking about my kindergarten teacher, Miss Lord. And I think about how I'm 46 years old, and I can still see her saying to me, Prudence, share. And just teaching me these life lessons. I was a bit of a bossy kid, and she would just very gently point that out. So I guess you're right. When we get black men in those roles, particularly with the very young and pliable minds, they can say things that are positive and good. And when they look back on it in their 46, they see this image. When the world is telling them that black men are nothing but criminals, rappers, football players, they go, nope, I know for sure there are black men who are caregivers or nurturers and take care of. And I think that goes into building the values and the moral system of the country. I think that sadly, one of the least recognized power players in our society is one of the most powerful, the pre-K elementary school teacher. They get our babies, and they can build beautiful minds or destroy them. I think also when we look at it, I was on Facebook and I was listening to a video this morning, and it was a black guy. I really wasn't paying attention. I tuned in when I heard him say, I got really good scores in kindergarten and first grade, so they moved me to a school for the advanced. I was only in second grade. And he talked about how there were no black teachers there. And he went from this very nurturing all black school to a white environment where he didn't feel loved. And I thought to myself, knowing we were going to do this, how important it is for our young black kids who are very bright and talented, because they're babies still. They're 6 and 7. They got to feel loved, and they got to feel protected, and they got to feel safe. And who better to make them feel loved, protected, and safe than a black man?
I want to say I want to give a big shout out to two of my former principals, Dr. Philip Luck and Dr. Danielle Barrow. They both made it a point to hire black males, and they both made it the point to try to balance the teams. When I taught on second grade, we had 2 male teachers and 2 female teachers. So there was always a balance. We didn't teach together. We all had our separate classes. But if a female teacher needed to send a kid to a male, they could. Or if I needed to send a student to a female teacher, we were all there on the same team right across from each other. And when we all went to field trips, we ate together in the cafeteria. They saw role models of both female and positive black males.
Did you have a lot of white males at elementary school?
In the school that I taught at, we didn't. Not that they didn't try to hire them, they didn't come there to work. We did have some, but most of them didn't come to our school. But it helped out a great deal when you had, every day you can see black professionals working, nurturing, making sure, knowing how to talk to you, knowing how to reach to you. I think it makes a difference too, because when I teach those students, I see my children, or I see the ones that I taught years ago, or I see myself, and I know I need to reach them this certain kind of way or say this certain kind of thing to get to them. It makes a difference when you have that culture or that commonality.
I think having men at the elementary school level is important no matter what. Black, white, Hispanic, whatever.
I agree.
I think having men who are minorities is even more important when you have, well, for all children, because you're right. I look at my 17-year-old son. He has been exposed to so few Hispanic males that he doesn't understand that they are not the stereotype that the mass media hands us.
Right.
I see so many of my black males, unfortunately, who don't have an active father at home, who live in a very feminized world, black feminized world, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when they do get male teachers, they are naturally adversarial. And when you said about elementary, how important it is, I think it's important at every grade level that black men start seeing other black men not as the enemy, but as an authority figure, as a leader, as a guide.
Right.
I watch black men trying to teach young black men, and these boys are so used to being the man of the house that they don't know how to respect, respond, and interact with the black man who is not the stereotype. They love their superheroes, and I have no problems with football players, rappers, basketball players. I love them. But the reality check for our young men is most of you are not going to have that person as your daddy. If you don't have a daddy at home and you sitting there dreaming LeBron James is going to suddenly become your daddy, you're probably going to be sorely disappointed.
Or most of them won't be. You won't see them in real life. Day to day or even monthly. I think one of the things I want to talk about, one of the schools I was at again, we had black males, white males. We had an Asian teacher. We had a Hispanic teacher.
All of these are men?
All of these are men. We
Excellent.
had a Hispanic teacher that taught Spanish. So, in a black male-female teacher. I mean, we had a black female and male PE teacher.
Good.
So, we saw all these people on different levels. It was a really great school. We had kids from all over the world, all over the country, and we all came together. And I think that's one of the great things that we have to, schools now, if I was to start a school, I would try to get as many different races and cultures as I can in that school, because it allows you to see so many positive role models besides what you see on TV or see in the media. You see these real people every single day.
I think it also, like you said, I think when we look at authority figures in our country, we a lot of times see white males. And I think when I talk to I teach the top of the line kids, and most of my kids are Hispanic or African American. And I'm talking about kids who are well above the national norm in intelligence. And when I ask them, why don't you want to go into, or do you want to go into politics? They go, no. And I go, why not? They say ain't nothing but a bunch of old old white men doing that. And I realize they don't see Hispanic men wearing ties and being professionals. The professionalization of the minority male is just not there. Even with Asian men, my Asian students, and every once in a while I have one or two Asian students, they think of Asian men as more mind men. You're going to go be a scientist. You're going to go invent. You're going to go be a computer programmer. They don't see themselves going into leadership roles. And I think that's one of the things that having black men, Asian men, Hispanic men, minority men at every level of school is so important. We've got to get this idea that minority males can be leaders, can be professionals, can put on a tie every day and go run the country just as well as anybody else. And I think back to blackophobia, our white young kids need to see it too. So that, quite frankly, in a lot of ways, when I look at it, and I look at what Barack Obama probably represented a year and a half, 2 years ago, to a lot of people who had never seen a black man in a tie, never seen a black man in a leadership role, it would probably be like an alien coming down and telling you, I'm in charge now. Yeah. It was very uncomfortable, and I'm not making excuses. I tried to step in the role and see what would it have felt like for me to be that person. It was probably a little uncomfortable, a little unsure.
I think it goes back to on the elementary level. I know one of the things I want to say about the elementary level is I appreciate so much having mentors coming to school from all different careers, because you get to see men, women come in that's lawyers, doctors, florists. I think our kids need to be exposed to as many different careers as possible, so they just don't say Hispanics are supposed to do this, or blacks you're supposed to do that. We need to be able to see that, hey, you could be anything you want to be.
And let's be honest, Dr. Shipman. When I look at my personal, I know a lot of people. I've taught for 25 years. I've lived all over the state. I know professionals of all races. But to be honest, when I look at my world, I see people who look like me. And so I know if I were bringing in those mentors and career day people, I would go get people who look like me.
Right.
And so I think that's another positive thing about having black men, Hispanic men, minority men in education at all levels. They have friends who are professionals.
Right.
And they can say, no, man, you can be an archaeologist. I got this friend. And they'll tell them about the friends. I get it all the time. I know you do too. I know an archaeologist, and the kid will go, is he black? And I go, yeah. And then all of a sudden, I validated that a black person can step out of this box that the world puts around us and be something different. Actually, if you come to my classroom, I'm a Georgia Bulldog graduate. I'm a University of Georgia graduate. Go Bulldogs. Yeah, I got to throw it out there. And my room is always, for probably the last 10 years, I've decorated in UGA red and black with the bulldog and everything. And one of the things that I get the first week of school every year is, oh, you're a Bulldog fan. I go, no, sir, I'm a Bulldog graduate. Let's be clear. I went to university for my undergrad degree and my master's degree. I am a Georgia Bulldog alumnus. Let me just tell you that. And the kids kind of go, Oh, you didn't have any black, you didn't go to school with anybody black. And I always go on to the Black UGA alumni website, pull it up, put it on my screen, and show years, like decades, I think it's 3 or 4 decades of African American students. Mm-hmm. I point out that my sister went to UGA, my brother-in-law went to UGA, my best friends went to UGA, and the kids are always kind of floored because in their minds, and I have no problems with HBCUs.
Uh-huh.
In their minds, the only place black people go to college is HBCUs. And they feel like they may not be welcomed. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the other reason, like you said, opening doors to careers that many black kids think are outside of their zone, opening doors to colleges, opening doors to the world that many black kids don't see in their community is why having black men and women is so important at all grade levels. But that authority piece, when I look at what happens to teenage boys in the streets, when police officers ask them to step out the road, mm-hmm. It breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. I don't know if learning how to deal with men in authority would help that. But my prayer is it may help the 5-year-old who becomes a police officer understand how to better be a man.
I think
by having a teacher who's a man, who speaks to him gently, even when he's getting on to him. I think it would help the black young man who's going to be a police officer understand you must go and show how to do this to the officer beside you and to the young boy. Mm-hmm. I think it's just so important on so many levels. I don't even want to talk about it from the victim side because that's very personal to the victim's parents and family. But when we look at the police officer, just imagine what world would be like if every police officer had a strong black male teacher who taught them that all black men aren't dangerous.
I think so too. It makes such a difference in this world. I see now some of my former students who are all colors and races. I can see how I made an impact on them. I see a lot of my white students now have black girlfriends or have mixed babies. I see how a lot of my white students, no matter what, they're in contact with me more than some of my black students. It was just the fact of color doesn't even come up. It's all about, hey, Mr. Shipman, they call me. You made such an impact on my life. I'm so glad that you was there for me.
You were their first person of authority outside of mom and dad. It's the first place we take our kids and leave them.
In kindergarten. Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully there are a lot of young people listening. Hopefully there are a lot of parents with young people getting ready to make that decision listening. Yes, teachers don't make much. But for me, it's been a very successful career. I have no regrets. Mm-hmm. It has brought me to a great place, wonderful home, wonderful community. Hopefully this touches somebody's ears and they hear the need for more men to enter the education field at all levels and do some great things. Yeah. Now.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to take on some questions we got this week.
Mr. Shipman's questions.
So this goes right in it. This is from Tracy. And Tracy asks, did you have any role models in the form of other kindergarten teachers?
Yes. My mentor, who's still here, still alive, and I got in contact with her a few days ago, Miss Perry Ragland. She was also a kindergarten teacher. She made such an impact on me, making sure I knew how to teach kindergarten, showing me the bare basics. And I also had, in the same building, but she was teaching second grade, Miss Coquita McGriff, who passed away not too long ago. But she taught kindergarten. She came and showed me and made sure, hey, do this, do this. So I had 2 great female role models who made sure that I was one of the best kindergarten teachers who ever came through that building. And I, again, thank you both because you made such an impact on my life.
Did you have any males?
And the male role model was Coach Richard Benford. He was the PE teacher in the building, and a Tuskegee graduate.
Yeah, Tuskegee.
Yeah, so he made sure he took me under his wing and showed me other things that they couldn't show me.
Was he a black man?
He was a black man. And showed me things that a male, what we should do, how we should carry ourselves in the building. And I thank him he is now retired also, but he showed me how to be a professional black man in this female-driven...
Yes, education is female dominant.
Yeah, but I thank him a great deal for what he did for me.
Well, this is a good question that follows up. We talked about today how important kindergarten teachers are and how we need strong men of all races in kindergarten. Do you remember your kindergarten teacher?
I don't this is what I remember for kindergarten. This one thing, I know it's kind of crazy. We were in a huge classroom. One of the kindergarten students could read, and the kindergarten teacher used to take him to the side and practice reading. And I went over one day. They said, no, you can't come over yet because you're not reading. And that really hurt my feelings. And ever since then, I think has always been my catalyst for making sure I teach every kid how to read. Because why would you stop a kid from wanting to learn how to read if he had that interest? So that kind of has bothered me for all these years.
For like 43 years?
Yeah, like, why I couldn't learn how to read.
And you don't remember your teacher's name?
I don't.
Well, it doesn't sound like she was really worth remembering
No.
since she didn't teach you to read when you asked. I think now, as a middle school teacher, and we get these kids who cannot read, we would pay money for a kid who walked up and said, teach me to read. I think,
yes.
and like every teacher in the
it.
building would stop what they were doing and like scramble to find something to help them.
Yes, they would.
So it is really important. Well, Dr. Shipman, how can I reach you?
You can reach me at www.terrenceshipman.com. That's TERANCESHIPMAN. That's all one word. You can also hit me up on my Facebook pages. I have Terrence Shipman. I have The Real PTA. We have Team Shipman. And hey, you can reach me also Instagram. What's the L one?
LinkedIn.
And I'm on Google Plus. And please, 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 please go to terrenceshipman.com and read our blog pages. Our blog page has been doing very well. We have some good blogs written by several educators. It is becoming an instant hit all over the internet. The blog pages that we coming out at least twice a week.
Okay. And also, what I want the world to know is if you're interested in seeing Dr. Shipman's books, they are available on Amazon.com. They're available on BarnesandNoble.com.
They're on Apple. iTunes.
You can get the digital version, Kindle.
It's on Google Plus or Google Play. It's basically everywhere.
Look us up.
And it's in. Actually, I counted I haven't counted. I think it's available in about 15 different countries. So the book is all over. And we got one more big book coming out this summer.
So keep us in mind as you get ready to go back to school. We have some great things coming. Dr. Shipman, can you close us out?
As in closing, as I say every week, I am special, I am smart, I am somebody. And please share, subscribe. And let your friends know, at least 2 friends. If you let 2 friends know, that's 2 more people listen that we didn't have last week. Thank you very much for tuning in to Mr. Shipman's class.
Thank you and goodbye.
Mr. Shipman's class.